Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Just doing another injector replacement job, funnily enough, and I just want to give you a little bit of information, a couple of variables on your injector replacement job, and it's going to include perhaps why an extra fuel filter will not only cost you in the setup and the risks of damage and unreliability, but also how it's going to cost you ongoing, not just for the filter replacement for jobs like this. So I'm going to call this video, it's going to cost you a slab. It's going to cost you a slab, okay? Now, slab's about 50 bucks, 60 bucks, 40 bucks, or 100 bucks. Depends what slab we need, depending how much your extras are. So, just to quickly touch on the extra fuel filter thing, if you want to have an extra fuel filter, that's fine. But the problem on this vehicle over here, it's on one of these brackets. This is a Hilux, okay? So, there's a stainless steel bracket that's been installed here. And they're often not that, they don't hold the weight that well, and if you're on corrugations, I'm not picking on that bracket in particular, but general brackets I see are under-engineered. These aftermarket brackets have been added on and there's extra fuel filters hanging off that can damage the vehicle. That's one thing to take into account. Obviously the extra cost of running the extra fuel filter. We don't need to go into the facts that we see injector contamination even with the extra fuel filters, water go through injectors even with the extra fuel filters, and we see even more vehicles without extra fuel filters going a very long time without contamination. So even though they work and do some cleaning and stuff like that, they don't prevent anything. So in our opinion, not really needed. We don't run them on our vehicles. Some people disagree, that's fine. It's not about that. The main issue was sort of over there as well, in that sort of area where the fuel lines were. The fuel lines were rubbing together and rubbing. The diesel engine vibration, you can't have it. This vehicle, obviously, normally it's got an intercooler. You know, it's up on the top about here. It goes down. There's not a lot of room between the fuel filters with the new mounting position with the dual battery and the extra fuel filter. But so why is it going to cost you a slab? The reason it's going to cost you a slab is the price we quote isn't fixed. It's around about this sort of price because there is variables. If you've got injectors that are stuck in there, obviously it's more time, so it's more money. Time is money at the end of the day. Then if you've got blowbone, we're to clean these ports out. Well, how much time do we spend? If it's a quick one, 10, 20 minutes. If it's a bad one and we're there for hours, so it's going to add, could be anything from a little bit to a lot. So it could add 50 bucks, 100 bucks, $200, $300. But we've got this thing going at the moment because, you know, we're mindful that it's already a very expensive job, and rather than charge you the extra when it's not too bad. Now, if it's a couple hours of getting stuck injectors and cleaning, 2 or 3 hours, it's going to cost you extra. So keep that in mind if you come into the Prado Hospital or any decent workshop. That's the way it's going to work, and just make sure you're not getting ripped off, people telling you things that aren't happening as well. So that's another story. My point is, on this one, we fluff around about an extra half an hour getting these fuel filters off because we need to get those out of the way to access the fuel pipes and everything around that side of the engine, you know, doing the EJAR clean and accessing the fuel pipes at the common rail. So about half an hour mucking around, disconnecting fuel lines carefully to not contaminate anything and get those out of the way. And it's probably going to be a similar time to put them back. So, you know, you might say, oh, that's a long time, an hour, but, you know, it's just what it takes, mate. You know, we're fluffing around, you know, getting the pipes off, undoing bolts, mounting things and whatever. And we could take that plate off as well, that bracket. It's just in the side of the picture. But I'd estimate there's quite a few brackets rebolted to that. We'd probably fluff around another 20 minutes, half an hour each way getting that off. So the point is it adds some time, and rather than go, oh, how much is it? I just want to tell you a little secret, right? So I told you already I don't do EJAR clean. So when we do an injector job, I've definitely got an assistant helping out with the EJAR clean side of things. Can you hear the pressure washer going on? That's what it is, assistant helping out, right? So he's the one that removes those fuel filters out of the way for me, right? This is, you know, this is my area in here, you know. So he likes beer. He likes beer. This is why it's going to cost you a slab. He loves beer. His favourite is Heineken. Every single job you take to him, if you've got a slab of Heineken, you'll be in the good books. But we don't expect, you know, a slab on every job. It's just be mindful, though, where I say, oh, you know, plus a slab, I'm being generous. Instead of going, okay, that's an extra 150 or whatever it is, right? I'm just going a slab, mate. Cost you 50 bucks, whatever. It's a gift, right? So you can gift a slab. I'll just give you the hint, slab of Heineken. Now, if you've got a big, there's a lot of extras, you know, let's say there's a bit extra work there, and you know, if you've got brush bars and antennas and light bars and things up, and all these things make it take longer. It's harder to work around, so it takes longer. So what do? Charge another hour or two? I just want to keep it a flat rate, chuck in a slab, sweetens the deal, you know what I mean? But if it's a lot of extra work, it might be a slab of that grosh, you know, the more expensive one, you know, I think to get 24 of those, it's going to be hard to get. It's going to cost you over $100. But usually the slab of Heineken, right, is the go. Coronas will do, you know. I like Great Northern, but I don't drink a lot, you know. It's not about the alcohol for me. I just want to sort of get the job done right, keep everyone happy, obviously, and do the job at the best value for money we can do for you. It is a very expensive job already, okay? At the end of the day, we already know the parts, injectors, pipes, seals and gaskets and all the labour. It's thousands of dollars. It's an expensive job, so I don't really need to or want to hit you with those few little extras, but just, I hope you understand, to sweeten up the deal, it's just the slab, mate, because the helpers love the slab. So keep that in mind. Heineken, 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 Heineken. I'll get a photo of it, put in the thumbnail, and that's why it's going to cost you a slab. Now, let's have a look around. So just a couple of extra things on fuel filters as soon as we mention it. It's a little bit about the fuel filter over there that's in the way. I've said it before, but for the people that haven't seen, 2 micron fuel filters, you know, people love them because they filter so fine and all that, and a lot of people will get away with it. So it's not, this is not an absolute, but when people contact me with an issue with stalling or hard to start, often it's that 2 micron filter causing problems. They bypass that, they're in business. So carry a spare, you may need to change it more regularly, whatever the case may be. Certainly we all understand that a finer filter, another filter, it is going to filter the fuel and take stuff out, but we don't believe that it's going to take enough out that your injectors are going to last forever or much difference whatsoever. The system Toyota puts in place works really well. We do recommend changing filters more regularly than Toyota do in most of their schedules in the workshop handbook, is either not at all or not at all, as most of the vehicles, you know, the 120s, the 150s, the Hiluxes, it's got that sensor on top, so it's, you know, change your filter when the light comes on. We're recommending on the Prados about every 40,000, because you've got one underneath at the fuel tank, fuel transfer filter, every 20,000 for that one underneath the vehicle on the Prado. Under the bonnet, every 40,000. On these Hiluxes, they're a lot cheaper. They're still a rip-off, paper element, genuine from Toyota. You should be able to get it down to about 35 bucks. I recommend you probably even just do it every 10,000 or 20. Depends how many Ks you're doing, okay? Every 6 months. Every year at the latest, you know, every 6 months, you know, like if you do a lot of Ks, 20,000 in 6 months, change it at 20. If you only do 20,000 a year, change it at 6 months. Every 10, that's fine. Any more would be a waste of time, and we've got videos on changing the fuel filter on all those vehicles, so just search the channel. I don't know what else I can tell you about this. This is quite clean inside, so it shows it's, you can probably see from where you are. Let's get in a little bit closer, see if that's helpful at all. And it is like very clean in the engine, so it's good to see. The regular oil changes make a difference, and it's better for us when we get in there. Obviously, generally gloves these days on most jobs anyway, unless I get caught out, you know, doing something in a video. But the gloves are off at the moment. But when we're getting in the engine, we prefer it all nice and clean, that sort of thing. It's better for the job if we can see what's going on. If we've got black, gritty, sooty stuff from lack of oil changes, it won't really harm anything, but you know, it's best clean, mate. You know, everything's best clean. You know, everything's going back on clean. All the components we're putting back on, I suppose, the ones that matter are clean. I don't know if you get what I mean. I'm probably just going, I want it clean because I like it clean. You know, who wouldn't? What would you prefer? Working on a dirty black engine that's got 2 millimeters of soot caked on it, that every time you touch it, everything gets black. It just spreads the mess everywhere. Or a nice clean engine like that you touch, you just get a bit of oil on your hands. You wipe it off and you wouldn't even know you touched it. So pretty straightforward. It's going to cost you a slab, guys, if you come into the Prado hospital to get an injector job done, unless, I'll give you an example where, you know what, you can do a complimentary slab, but there's going to be no extras if you come in with a stock standard Hilux, no lift, no bull bar, no brush bars, no extra fuel filters, no catch cans, all these extras under the bonnet. I hope you get my drift. I'm just trying to explain so you know what to expect, not only here, but it should be the same at other workshops, you know. To be fair, you know, when there's extras, when there's not, there's not. Okay, so the extra things we notice besides that fuel, the reason I'm doing this video, you're going, oh, you know, like what's going on? We're mucking around getting this fuel filter off out of the way. So just beware every time you've got to work on the vehicle, and even at a service, to be quite honest, with those there, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to get to the oil filter, which is, you know, down there as well, you know, down underneath here. You can't get to that right? You can't get to it with those two fuel filters in the way. So we need to at least move one out of the way and maneuver our way in there. So it's a pain. So it's not a good place to put them, I suppose, is the other part of the story. Perhaps, you know, there could be a bracket made up. I don't know. Over here next to the ABS, behind the airbox, in between there and the master cylinder reservoir, over that side there. You know, maybe that's somewhere. Let's just have a look over there, over this way, right? You know, I don't know if that's right. I'm just thinking out loud here, right? Right, maybe in here somewhere is probably a better, but then you've got to run the fuel lines across. So that's where I just say it's just easier not to do it. Anyway, you get the drift, guys. It's going to cost you a slab. Hope you understand that. It's us being generous, and we appreciate the gifts. Please give us a thumbs up if that was helpful for you to understand. Doesn't matter where you go, if it's here or somewhere else. They might not talk about the slab thing, but you know, if there's some extras and they say don't worry about it, it's nice to just go, well, you know what, mate, what do you drink? I appreciate that. Or get them a gift card, or get them a, I don't know, get them whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Bada bing, bada boom, all right? Please subscribe, turn the bell on, and thumbs up. See ya.